Is Dragonage the Veilguard destined to fail? Is one of the most anticipated RGBs of the year already doomed to fail? And today, we're diving deep into why this game might be heading for disaster even before its release. Let's break down the key issues, from poor pre-order sales to controversial content, and see if there's any hope left for this title. Stick around because this is going to be a heated discussion. First up, let's talk numbers. Recent reports show that Dragonage the Veilguard is being crushed by its competition in terms of pre-orders. According to a retail source cited by Craig Skatimis from the Side Scrollers podcast, the game has only managed to secure around 1,069 pre-orders across 900 stores. To put this in perspective, Nintendo's upcoming Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has racked up over 4,400 pre-orders in just the past 2 weeks. More than 4 times the amount the Veilguard has managed in total. This is a big red flag for BioWare, suggesting a serious lack of interest among gamers. But poor pre-order performance is just the tip of the iceberg. One of the most divisive issues surrounding the game is its focus on LGBTQ+ themes. While diversity and representation are incredibly important, some fans feel that the emphasis on these topics in the game is overshadowing other aspects of the story and gameplay. The lead developer, who identifies as transgender, has been very vocal about the game, including diverse relationships and pansexual romance options. For some, this is a welcome addition, but others see it as a distraction from what they believe should be the core elements of a Dragon Age game. And this controversy has only added fuel to the fire. This brings us to the next big problem: negative feedback. A recently released trailer for the game received overwhelmingly negative reactions, with a high ratio of dislikes compared to likes. This suggests that the presentation and content of the game are not landing well with its intended audience. Many longtime fans are expressing frustration, saying that the game seems to have lost touch with the dark and gritty tone that originally defined the series. Instead of being excited, they feel alienated and disconnected from this new direction. And what about the gameplay and visuals? While there have been some positive comments, like the praise for the hair movement and certain graphical elements, the overall design and character aesthetics have been slammed as ugly and weird. This has only compounded the negative perception, making it difficult for players to see past these surface-level issues and appreciate the deeper mechanics or story the game might offer. Moreover, recent data from SteamDB indicates that Dragonage the Veilguard is ranked only 38th on the most wish-listed upcoming games list, and a disappointing 80th place in top sellers. To compare, Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, which is set to be released just 2 weeks before the Veilguard, is already 23rd in the most wish-listed games, and 14th in top sellers. This shows a stark contrast in interest and excitement between the two titles. But the issues don't end there. The lack of connection with the core audience is another major concern. Longtime fans of the series have voiced their disappointment, saying that the Veilguard is moving away from the elements that made them fall in love with Dragon Age in the first place. The dark and mature themes, complex character relationships, and the rich lore of Data seems to have taken a backseat to a more superficial narrative. This perceived shift has made many feel like BioWare is trying to appeal to a broader audience at the expense of the loyal fan base. What's even more worrying is that these criticisms aren't just coming from casual players. Prominent figures in the gaming community, such as Asmongold, have openly criticized the game, calling it a disappointment and comparing its visuals to that of a mobile game. Such harsh comments from influential voices can have a significant impact on public perception, potentially swaying undecided players away from even considering the game. Then there's the question of the game's overall tone and theme. Dragon Age has always been known for its complex narratives and morally ambiguous choices set against a dark fantasy backdrop. However, many fans feel that the Veilguard is shifting away from this formula, opting instead for a more lighthearted or politically driven narrative. This perceived shift in focus has raised concerns that BioWare is losing touch with what made this series great in the first place. Another issue that's been widely discussed is the lack of innovation in gameplay mechanics. While the new ability wheel and real-time combat sound promising, many feel that these elements do not differentiate the Veilguard enough from its predecessors. In a market saturated with action RPGs, it's crucial for a game to stand out, not just with its story, but also with its gameplay mechanics. Without meaningful innovations or unique features, the Veilguard risks being overlooked by players who crave fresh and engaging experiences. There is also a sense of uncertainty surrounding the post-launch support for the Veilguard. With games increasingly relying on updates, expansions, and live service elements to maintain player engagement, BioWare needs to provide a clear and compelling roadmap for future content. If players are not confident that their feedback will be heard or that the game will evolve in meaningful ways, they might be less inclined to invest their time and money. So what does all this mean for Dragonage the Veilguard? Right now, things are not looking good. If the game continues to struggle with negative reception and poor pre-order numbers, it could be a sign of a much larger problem, one that might even put the future of the franchise in jeopardy. Fans are worried, and with good reason. The series has a legacy of delivering some of the best RPG experiences in gaming. But if the Veilguard can't capture the magic of its predecessors, it risks being remembered as a massive disappointment. But is there still hope? Can BioWare turn things around before the game's release? Well, they've done it before. We've seen troubled games bounce back with the right changes and updates, but it's going to take a lot of effort and perhaps a bit of magic to get fans back on board. One potential strategy could be to release a more polished and content-rich demo, showcasing what makes the Veilguard unique and addressing some of the community's biggest concerns. If BioWare can prove that the game delivers on its promises, they might be able to turn the tide in their favor. Ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see if the Veilguard can rise from the ashes, or if it's destined to be one of the biggest flops in recent gaming history. The stakes are high, and the future of the franchise may very well depend on how this game is received. What do you think? Is Dragonage the Veilguard on a path to failure? Or is there still time to save it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and if you're as curious as we are to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come as we keep an eye on this developing story. Until next time, stay legendary.